Welcome back in, everybody, to Birds 365, a Monday edition. It's Christmas week, everybody, December 23rd. Joined now by Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports. Jeff, thanks for getting us up with us this morning, brother. How you doing on this Monday morning?
Do we hear it?
I'm ready for the
There we
holidays.
go. Got a little bit of a lag, I think. We'll see how it.
You guys hear me?
I got you. Where do we start, Jeff Kerr? I mean, I thought there were plenty of opportunities for the Eagles to win that football game. Uncharacteristic drops, obviously, from Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley, but even more than that, I look at the first time, really, maybe early in the season, I have to go back, but there haven't been many areas where you can say, oh, Eagles blew a coverage. They blew a bunch of coverages. We haven't seen that. What do you think happened from that aspect of it?
Yeah, John, to me, that was the weirdest part of the game. And I thought the coverages really started getting blown when I rewatched the play before I went to bed last night. And I don't recall them either putting a spy on Jaden Daniels on that 4th and 11 where he got a 30-yard run, or there was miscommunication on the back end there. And it just seemed like once Daniels was able to get that going, everything just broke loose. They were getting receivers open down the field. He was able to scramble out of the pocket a lot quicker. I mean, look, Washington on that last drive went right down the field. And look, they only have one timeout left. And, you're looking at the time, you're like, well, there's only 20 seconds left, but they're at the 20. Like, how did this happen this quick? And, yeah, John, I think a lot of it did have to do with C.J. Gardner-Johnson getting ejected. I think he's a more valuable piece to that defense, just like the Jalen Hurts haters that don't think he's any good. They don't realize how valuable he is to their offense.
Yeah, our resident Jalen Hurts hater, Brian Pumper, he's going to have a dip because
he was on last night.
Well, I'm glad Brian wasn't shying away. I don't know what he said, but you saw the impact. Well, Jalen hasn't had his best season throwing the football from a consistency standpoint, but the way he plays, the unique way he plays, just impacts the offense in a positive way so significantly. I think they win that game going away if Jalen Hurts is in there. And they still had their opportunities. So, but it's the first loss in 3 months, Jeff. Are we really going to push the panic button at this point?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, like, even with all the problems the defense had in the fourth quarter, they still were up 27-13 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, well, that's a concern, though. When you give up
27-14, I guess.
What was it? 3 touchdown passes in the fourth quarter?
After C.J. Gardner-Johnson exited the game, Jaden Daniels had 3 touchdown passes.
Whew. Yeah. You don't want to blame. I don't want to sit here and blame. Oh, Tristan McCullum's the reason they lost, because why is Slay running off the field on the Alamazee Zacchaeus touchdown? Why is he running off the field? Why is Ringo on the field? What is going on there?
Yeah.
Again, that blows the coverage. Yeah.
Again, lack of communication on the back end. That's what I don't understand. Or, Quinyon Mitchell probably had his worst game as a pro yesterday.
Yeah, well, they've had so many good games. I've been waiting for that shoe to drop, and people are like, people went to these ludicrous degrees with Quinyon Mitchell, lockdown this, lockdown that, Guantanamo Bay, whatever you want to call about it, and you knew it was coming. And to me, I don't even blame Quinyon on that go route. I blame, like, that was a blitz. That was the rare Vic Fangio blitz where he's got to be outside by himself. And Terry McLaurin beat him off the line of scrimmage and made a great catch as well, over the shoulder catch. I mean, why aren't they playing cover 9, cover 3, cover 2? Why all of a sudden?
I got pretty upset to add your point, just from the national perspective. when you're hearing these so-called football genius national analysts say this is what happens when the Eagles defense faces a real quarterback, I said, wait a minute. You mean that same real quarterback they shut down 6 weeks ago? That same.
Well, they didn't shut him down yesterday.
Well, he's really freaking good.
Yeah,
That's what I get upset about. Like, the guy's good. I mean, I'll put it in perspective for you. There's only been 4 quarterbacks to throw 5 touchdown passes in history against the number 1 defense in points and yards allowed going into that game. Dane Daniels is one of them. So, and it hasn't been done since 1983. So, I mean, the guy's really good. The Commanders are a good team. Whether people want to admit it or not, they're a good team. But with that being said, if Jalen Hurts is on the field all 4 quarters, we're not having this discussion.
No, we are not.
No, we're not even close.
And Saquon Barkley might have ran for 250 yards again.
What did you think of Kenny Pickett, Jeff? Did you think he did enough to win? Like, where are you on that?
I do. Like, I think he was fine. I don't think he was good. I don't think he was bad. It's just, and look, AJ Brown put it in great perspective yesterday. After a lot of the reporters left, AJ was talking to a couple of us, and he said it's different because you're not practicing with Kenny Pickett a lot. You're still getting that timing down. And he said Saquon said too. The run game is built for Jalen. So when you put Kenny in, and he said it's not Kenny's fault, he's a different quarterback. So you're adjusting on the fly.
Right.
And look, Kenny Pickett threw the pass he needed to throw to Devonta Smith to seal that game.
Yep.
Devonta dropped it. He never drops that. And he owned up to it. That's one thing.
Oh, man. Devontae's awesome, man.
Yeah, he was. You could see the anger in his eyes after, but owned up to it 100%. Yep.
Oh, it was great. And again, everybody's blaming the officials on the fake website X when the players, the
real
people,
website.
Yeah. The people you love to death that their shit don't stink are blaming themselves. Take a picture.
Showing accountability. Accountability.
Every single one of them. Reed Blankenship, Saquon, Devontae, AJ, Kenny, the coach, every one of them.
Yep.
But, let's blame the officials because of what CJ Gardner-Johnson said or did, and we still don't know. Oh, by the way, I also agree with you. The first penalty was complete BS, and the excuse was even worse.
I agree with you 100%, Jeff Kerr. I think you're 100% right. I really do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Everybody took accountability.
Everybody I asked took accountability. And look, I'll even defend Gardner Johnson on this. I got to Reed Blankenship's an honest guy. If he says that, he said, look, I'm going to defend him. I got his back, but he didn't say anything on the second one. So that's what I'm going by. And I asked other players. He didn't say anything. Okay, that's what I'm going to go with.
Well, speaking of accountability, Jeff, how much of that do you put on the head coach? Because, I thought yesterday was an undisciplined football team, Jeff. And whether you have Jalen Hurts in there or not, you can't be undisciplined. And to me, maybe that's just the way I was raised, the way I was taught. That, to me, comes down to the leader in the clubhouse, and that's the head coach. If you're an undisciplined football team, now that's where I put it. Where do you put it?
I don't think you're wrong on that, Zander. I mean, there were a lot of stupid penalties this team had yesterday. Like, again, for the whole ref screwed them. I said, you do know the Commanders had like a bunch of pass interference penalties.
Oh my God. I've never seen a drive that was all pass interference.
Yeah. What was the one drive, John? What was it?
61 of 69 yards.
Yeah.
Pass interference.
Yeah. So, look, they had the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Carter, who, by the way, leads the league in that. But you guys want to know something? I got a little mad at this when people were saying, oh, that's CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's got to tone it down. He can't be doing that. He does that all the time. Well, when I looked it up, no, he hasn't. He doesn't do it all the time, even though he is a loose cannon because he didn't have any going into yesterday. He had 2 yesterday, which got him ejected. But again,
Jeff, I'm not going to go down the route of blaming the officials, but do you know any more than I do? Because I did see that clip, and I'm like, I'm not absolving CJ. I think it's stupid. Your quarterback's out of the game. You can't get thrown out, dude. You just shut up. After you get your first personal, just shut up, right? But I did watch the clip, and it's like, the dude hits his helmet off his head. Like that did happen.
Oh yeah. Well,
and
that's the
CJ
thing.
doesn't throw any hands. Like what happened there? Why call that on CJ versus calling that on De'Ami Brown?
It was definitely the reaction more than because you got to remember last week Quinyon Mitchell and Darius Slay are punching people, but James Washington or Washington,
Darnell Washington or whatever.
Darnell Washington, they're the ones who got the penalty. So they always get the second offender. It's just the way it is. So that's where I agree with you, Zander. Like you got to try to calm yourself in the moment there.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, enough officiating talk. I'm officiated out.
You know where I'm officiated out. You got, and I'll say this too. Can you give a better explanation than the one you give the pool reporter?
Yeah. Well, I in a lot of ways, yeah. Well, that's the one part I agree with Holt. There's not enough accountability. And they're not allowed to answer certain things. So in a lot of ways, those pool reports hurt more than they help because nobody's ever satisfied.
It's like the NBA 2-minute breakdown.
Nobody's ever satisfied with it. Yeah. So
it's just a lame excuse. Like it's almost like when you steal something from a candy shop and you easily get caught. And your thing was, well, I had the dollar, I just didn't want to pay for it.
Well, if somebody says something untoward, and you can imagine whatever it is, they're not going to say what they said. They're not because they don't want to, if it's racial, if it's
probably does more harm to the player than good.
Yeah, if it's there's a lot of things that people can say to get under people's skin that if they got out and they said what they were, become even a bigger deal. So I do understand why they try to limit that, but there's just officiating as a whole. And I say it all the time. People have a problem with the rule. The rule is concrete. And a lot of people don't know the rules because it's so over legislated. But if you get two in one game, it doesn't matter what they are. It doesn't matter how you got them. It doesn't matter what it raises to. If you get two, you're out. And if you get the first one, Kristen Parker, Nick Sirianni have to tell them, look, can't get another one or you're out.
Yeah, you keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Make the play and go home.
That to me is the only way you can handle it.
But while we're on the official talk, and I don't want to bring it up too much, but to me, this is my personal opinion on the Jalen Hurts, on the official waving him back. I get you're trying to protect these players from themselves. I get it. But if your body, if you want to go out there and get your head smashed, they shouldn't be allowed to say anything.
I'll tell you what, Jeff, you were at the game though, right? I don't know if you caught the TV broadcast. And listen, I don't disagree with you entirely, but I will say I was watching the TV, and this is just my perspective.
I heard he looked dazed, Zander.
He looked lost over, man. He got up, and it even almost in the moment, it even looked like Mailata helped him up, and it almost looked like Jalen wasn't even ready to be helped up. Jalen got up and he looks at the official, and I'm like, whoa, Jalen looks like he got bopped there. Now, I don't entirely disagree with you, but I think in that moment they were probably right.
Well, it's a bad lawsuit against the NFL. That's why they're doing
it. Yes, exactly. So again, you have problem with Jeff. You have a problem with the legislation. The officials have they can't say that. They can't say he wants to play. They can't do that.
Yeah. And there was an independent neurologist that said he wasn't good.
Yeah. So that's not their fault. That's the rule. That's what they have to do. And he can't pass the test, and he's ruled out of the game. That has nothing to do with the officials. Nothing to do with the officials.
I agree with you, John. It's just one of those, like, maybe it's just me being me. Like, you know what? You want to be an idiot and go out there.
Well, I agree to a certain extent, but again, the NFL would have to change their policy, and the NFL would have to change it. That has nothing to do with the officials on the field.
And the NFL's really under a spotlight with Tua, but a lot of it has more of Tua.
And they don't want to get sued. That's what it's all about. So,
which is hilarious considering the way Tua actually handles himself,
and that's
in these football games.
And that's unfortunately, hey, if you get. It's like the COVID days. That was even stupider. But guys are ruled out.
Zander,
That's the legislation.
I had people text me during that Jalen hit, and again, you're seeing it better on TV than I'm seeing it in the press box because I had the far side. Is that a dirty hit?
See, I'm back and forth because we did the post game show last night. A couple people were saying it was dirty. A couple people were saying it wasn't. I went back and rewatched the clip on X. I shared on my X account. It looks like the helmet makes helmet to helmet hit, and that's what propels him into the ground. But it's not real clear. What's really clear is his helmet slaps the turf. That's what's really clear.
That's what I thought. I'm like, okay, his helmet hit. And look, it's a football play. You don't like it, don't run.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think what I don't think is I don't think Luvu intentionally did anything. Maybe the helmet caught the helmet. I don't think it was like an intentional thing where he dove in with the crown of his helmet trying to clap.
And he's not a dirty player either.
It did look a little helmet to helmet to me, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, but again, as a defensive player, you get a free shot at the quarterback. You're taking it.
Remember, you lose your protection. I think people don't realize that.
Yeah,
quarterbacks do not have protection when they're running the football. That's a football play. That's not a penalty.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I don't disagree with that. I don't get why Jalen dives head first there either. But he's just more comfortable doing that, I guess.
Yeah, some people. I mean, sometimes football's a violent sport. Sometimes guys get hurt. And that's all that happened.
I always thought it was funny in life, and I played baseball a lot of years. You're taught to slide feet first, and then all of a sudden head first sliding's like a thing. And they're like, well, no, don't do that. You can get hurt.
Yeah, now everyone's got to wear oven mitts.
I said, what?
To protect for broken hands.
But that's why they tell you not to slide head first.
Yeah, but they do slide it, so they got to wear oven mitts.
Yeah.
Unintended consequence for baseball, but I digress. Well, if when you look at how this team got off, and one thing I want to talk about with Kenny Pickett, because I think it's going to get lost, but I think this long term, I think when people get over this loss, if they ever get over a loss, I think it shows you the advantage the Eagles have, and that's when they fell behind. So this is after the Olamide Zaccheaus touchdown. St. Joe's Preps, former superstar. And
he was a running back there, too.
The former Eagles third receiver that they did not use, as they don't use any third receiver. Maybe we'll get into that at some point.
So Dotson, he comes to Philly, man. He can't get the rock.
Yeah, I didn't even see him in the locker room yesterday. And I saw
I didn't mean to cut you, John. Go ahead.
28-27. Eagles are down after the Zaccheaus. They get the ball back. Decent drive. It's 4th and 1 from their own 43. There's a lot of, you got to punt the ball. You're only down plenty of time. You got to play field position. Eagles say, fuck that. 4th and 1. And this is with Kenny Pickett, not Jalen Hurts. Great throw to Devontae Smith that converts. And then they continue to drive, and they're facing a 4th and 7. 4th and 7 with 6:10 left in the game at the 50-yard line. Now everybody's saying you got to punt that one.
Nope, not the Eagles.
And they convert, throw to A.J. Brown. A.J. does a nice job. It was underneath the stick, so he extends it, gets it. And they go on. They didn't finish. They had a sack a couple plays later. Jake Elliott eventually hit his first 50-yard field goal of the season, and they took the lead right back. If they would have won the game, that would have been played up dramatically, but they didn't. So it's now
That's
just
why a lot
footnote.
of the players that, when I asked about Kenny Pickett on and off the record, that's where they defended him. They said, well, look at the 4th down throw to AJ. That's what they kept saying.
Yeah. But just the natural aggression of this team is such an advantage. And nobody, after watching it for 3+ years, nobody seems to recognize it in the moment because they're all just, they don't give a shit. If it's successful, that's a good call. But if it's unsuccessful, and if that 4th and 7 didn't work, it's still the right decision. Why can't people figure that out?
Because they go off results.
Well, yeah. That's what I always
You
say.
know, Dan
I'm glad you said it.
Campbell's a genius when he goes for it on fourth down all the time, but he's a boob in the NFC Championship game when he did the same stuff.
I don't know. Jeff, the one thing I can't defend for Dan Campbell was the onside kick with about 11 and a half minutes to go.
I didn't mind it because his defense
that
couldn't
was
stop him. He couldn't stop Josh Allen. I mean, I questioned it too, but I'm like, well, in his defense is bad right
By the
today.
way, did you see the Lions play yesterday where they fell down on
Oh
purpose?
yeah, was it a fake? Did they admit it was a fake?
I'm pretty sure it was a fake.
Yes, they fell down on purpose. Everybody on the sideline was yelling ball, ball, ball to
Yeah, the whole
indicate
offensive line too was yelling it too.
the ball was on the ground in Chicago. And it was a play action. And they all bit and they had an easy touchdown to sample. That team is freaking phenomenal.
I am going to say this about the Chicago Bears. They have more talent, way more talent than the New York Giants. I swear to God, they're worse than the New York Giants.
No, they're not. But you're right. They have a ton of talent, and they should not be as bad as they are. The Chicago Bears.
Yeah. The Giants really, really suck.
I was a little surprised Ben Johnson used that play in that moment, up 2 scores to Chicago.
I'm a little surprised too, but that's where you want to try that stuff against a bullshit.
Yeah. You try it against the bad teams.
I think there's also another side to it too, where it's like if you put that out there, I know you might not be able to use it again, or you might not use it again as a coach, but
you gotta worry about it.
You at least put another thing for the team to prepare for, which is
they're putting that on film for Minnesota in a couple of weeks.
Exactly, they're gonna prepare for some stuff.
But by the way, guys, Eagles fans don't want to hear it. They're still in the race for the number 1 seed. A lot of stuff needs to happen, but.
Yeah, Birds would have. What would happen, Jeff? Birds would have to win out. Vikings would have to lose to
Green Bay,
and then
Detroit,
the Lions, right?
and then beat Detroit.
Yeah,
but Detroit
has to lose 2 in a row, which they haven't.
Detroit has to lose. Who do they play?
Detroit's not losing to San Francisco.
They play San Francisco, and then they have to lose.
Yeah,
because the Eagles.
Because remember, if Minnesota loses to Green Bay, which is a possibility, I think
Green Bay's a good team.
Yeah, they're a very good team.
But they're also 0-4 against 10-win teams.
Even so, it's a possibility. It's a legitimate possibility. Minnesota's probably not playing hard in week 18. And, so if you look at it that way.
If Detroit loses, they have to.
No, if Detroit loses, yes, they have to play hard, but they have to beat Green Bay.
Yeah, it comes down to next week. And Minnesota and Detroit both lose, and the Eagles win. And it's game on.
Yeah. Crazier things have happened.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it.
Getting in the playoffs, I think 7 things had to happen.
I've seen the Oakland Raiders, the god-awful Oakland Raiders beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It's very unlikely simply because Detroit, as Zander said, is not losing to a San Francisco team
they're not.
Checked out.
Also, guys, for those of you who want to see Saquon break Eric Dickerson's record, that definitely will not happen. If Detroit beats San Fran. It's not going to happen.
Well, we put the caveat out there for the 1 seed. I feel the need to put this caveat out there as well. The Philadelphia Eagles have not yet secured the NFC East or the number 2 seed. As crazy of a pipe dream as it would be for us to get the 1 seed, there's also the pipe dream that the Eagles, who have a tough opponent now. I know the Cowboys are not the Cowboys. William Burney's in the chat already.
Oh, they played well yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
And listen, here's another thing that you got to factor in. That Cowboys team knows the scenario. They want to knock off the Eagles a lot more than they want to knock off the
Washington. You know how much that Cowboys team hates the Eagles? Micah Parsons needed the Eagles to win a football game for them to stay alive, and he just didn't care.
Yeah, I know.
And I kind of really respect that. I do.
I do too. But look, Eagles lose out and Washington wins out. Now, Washington they have the Cowboys in the last week, and then who do they have next week?
Atlanta. Big game.
Yeah, they have Atlanta.
They win out and we lose out. I don't think we're losing it.
You know what? That's a big game for the Commanders because I know the Falcons are winning the division right now, but they're still in the wild card hunt, even if they don't win the division. So
yeah, they have to
Washington
win. I thought it was
Arizona.
Yeah, Washington's got to win 1 more to get in as well. So
Green Bay, if they win the 9th, they're in. It's starting to come together.
Yeah.
It looks like too, if we do end up with the 2 seed, unless Green Bay somehow falls and loses in the next couple. Who do they play tonight? The Saints, is it?
They play the Saints tonight.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah, so
Saints
they should win that
and the
game.
Saints are finally eliminated from the playoffs.
It does look like that there's a good chance we could end up playing Washington in round 1. Obviously not definite yet, but it looks like that's
part
the way
Part 3.
That would be a great game.
And by the way, I think the Eagles will win that. I'm already predicting the Eagles will win that game handily.
Johnny
Yep.
Mac.
And you know what?
Yeah.
There's a lot of Commanders fans on their high horses today. I feel like telling them, just remember something. Jalen Hurts will be playing the next game.
Listen, they're entitled to that because they got a good young quarterback over there, man. That guy's impressive. He's
a hell of a quarterback.
I don't care how many takeaways Eagles defense had yesterday. You throw 5 touchdown passes as a rookie versus a coordinator like Vic Fangio, a defense that's number 1 in the NFL. You deserve some credit. And I think Eagles fans are having a hard time today tipping their cap to what the Commanders were able to do.
So I got yelled at on X yesterday because I said this Eagles defense better get used to Jaden Daniels because this ain't going away. And they keep saying RG3. I'm like, no, that's not it.
Well, I got shit on pretty good last week for saying Jaden Daniels is having a better season than Jalen Hurts, which I don't even think it was close coming into that game. But
if you look at Jaden Daniels' numbers, they're kind of historic. I said he had a better rookie year. He's having a better rookie year this year than CJ Stroud did last year on my overreactions piece.
yeah, they both had great. Man, CJ had a great rookie year, and people adjusted, and he hasn't been as good in the sophomore year.
And the Texans play actual teams every week now. They did not do that last year.
People will adjust. It's not going to be all peaches and cream for Jaden Daniels, but he is a playmaker, and he is. Yes, you're right. He's going to be a pain in the ass for many years as long as he stays healthy. Overall, though, and make sure you follow Jeff on the X platform, cbssports.com. You can read them there. But when you look at this team moving forward to the playoffs, where they're not getting the number 1 seed, yes, minimally still possible, but it's not going to happen. It's probably going to be Detroit. What is the ceiling? Has this loss affected your ceiling for the Philadelphia Eagles?
No. I still think this team's a Super Bowl contender. I think when things go right, look, your teams are entitled to bad games. Defense didn't have a good game yesterday. The offense was discombobulated, and they still scored 33 points. By the way, they were up 33-28 with a minute 58 left with Kenny Pickett. It's just, but you can clearly see, and I've been saying for weeks, this team is in big trouble if they lose one of 2 guys, Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. And in a way, A.J. Brown, too. But,
and Lane.
Yeah, and Lane. But that's football. That's everywhere, right?
That's
I mean, take away Amon-Ra St. Brown on the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
And they lost Sam Montgomery.
They might figure it out. But
They might still
They might. But,
they might. Probably not. Probably
not.
Not.
This is what I like to say to people.
I'm joking.
Yeah, but who is the Detroit Lions backup quarterback?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, do you think a Detroit Lions fan could probably say to you?
David Blau's that would be my go-to. He's an assistant coach.
Yeah, but do you think if you asked the Lions, if there was a Lions 365 and we were doing this, do you think they could tell you?
Well, I would know that if I were covering the Lions, I would know that, and I should know it as soon as I see it.
No. But no, where I'm going with this is if you ask the Lions fan who the Eagles' backup quarterback is, they probably don't know it's Kenny Pickett.
Oh, Hendon Hooker, right? Is that it?
Yeah, I think Hendon Hooker's their backup. I'm
former
VT college
guy,
player.
former Tennessee guy.
Yeah,
former Tennessee guy. Yeah, but
good college.
I think he went to
player.
VT first, didn't he, Jeff Kerr? He went to VT.
He did go to VT
Tennessee.
Yeah, he's got a can of an arm. Can't do much else, but
I think they also have Jake Fromm on the practice squad. Maybe
we know who the Commanders' backup quarterback is.
They're collecting good college quarterbacks to be backups in Detroit, evidently.
That's why Zander, that's why when you asked me, I didn't think Kenny Pickett played bad yesterday. I didn't think he played good. I didn't think he played bad. I think he did enough.
I thought I personally was a little hard on him in the post-game show, and I thought he did enough to win. Jeff, let me ask you one more question.
That's not Kenny. That's not Kenny's fault either, Zander. That's just reactionary.
Yeah, and I thought it was just what
do people expect? My guy Les Bowen was killing. I love Les.
Rushing.
killing
Kenny
him.
Pickett.
I'm
Oh,
like,
he was doing that crotch yesterday too.
have we just gotten too out of whack in Philadelphia because they think everybody's going to be Nick Foles?
Yeah, Nick Foles broke. John, can you blame us? He broke us. Nick Foles, the backup quarterback, slayed the greatest coach quarterback duo. In the
I agree.
NFL.
Obviously he had a great run, but the people remember he also had shitty games.
I
to the
know,
point where
I know, but John, when it mattered the most, he did what he did, and ultimately that'll break something in your psyche, man.
It broke.
But
broke
like,
people.
and look, I like Kenny Pickett. I talked to Kenny Pickett. I don't want to like just crap on the guy, but he's not good. Like,
no, he's not great.
He's not.
Yeah. No, he's not. Jeff, let me ask you this.
Where would you put? Sorry, Zander.
No, you're good. Go ahead, Johnny, man.
And the pantheon of backup quarterbacks, understanding we just talked about Hendon Hooker, Marcus Mariota, as you just mentioned, was. You're telling me Kenny Pickett's not a top 10 backup quarterback?
Yeah, he is a top 10 backup quarterback. Yeah, he is, but the backup quarterbacks aren't good.
And by the way, real quick for the people that say you should put Tanner McKee was the emergency quarterback.
And he's been that all year.
He cannot be put in the game unless the other two quarterbacks
but there was an
ruled
opportunity.
Out.
There was an opportunity.
No, there was because he
hurt.
was dealing with a rip. But people are saying, I would have went to McKee. He's not on the roster. He's an emergency quarterback. So if 2 injuries occur and both players would have to be ruled out, that means you can't go back to Kenny Pickett and you have no backup quarterback.
Right.
That's the only way you put Tanner McKee in the game. Now, if he hurt his ribs and he was unable to go back in, they would have played him because they would have had to. But
it's not like a fluid situation, though. Yeah, where you can go to one or the other.
And look, the rib injury had to be serious. They're going under further testing today.
Yeah.
MRIs.
So
maybe
we will get the McKee game.
Yeah,
I just want to clarify they can't just bench the guy and put Tanner McKee in.
I give Kenny credit, man. He gutted that out and had the play.
You know, I kind of liked Kenny's strategy at the store when he first got in. He's like, "Where's AJ Brown? Just throw the ball to AJ Brown." He was just drilling it to AJ. I'm like,
unfortunately, that's why he got the interception too, though.
Yeah.
There was a point, John, before the wheel route to Barkley, all his targets were the AJ and Devontae.
That was the best play call of Kellen Moore's afternoon. They completely fooled Washington. Boy, the play was there, and he dropped the football. And he took the count.
One and out yesterday, and he did not take it.
Jeff, let me ask you one thing about
Jalen Hurts. He took accountability.
Well, he took accountability, but you also gave him an out on the play.
I tried, I tried because I'm trying to give him an out to get more honesty, and he was honest. He was short, but he was honest.
Well,
he took accountability.
By the way, again, no disrespect to Jalen. I love Jalen, but man, it was nice here and not keep the main thing for one day.
And by the way, for all the people, and I give Zach Berman, my buddy, credit for this because, for all the people saying they're a Saquon Barkley drop and a Devontae Smith drop away from being 14-1. Remember 61 yards on 3rd and 16 against the Saints. Remember Xavier Leggett dropping a touchdown that would have put Carolina on top. They could as easily be 10-5. So if you play that game, remember the other ones.
And honestly, we can play that game with the Commanders. There are a lot of games the Commanders have won where, especially in that stadium, there was a Hail Mary from a bad organization in Chicago. I think their last 3 wins or something they won in the final.
Yeah, it took them 59 minutes and 54 seconds to beat the Philadelphia Eagles with no Jalen Hurts, CJ getting thrown out, bunch of stupid plays, bunch of blown communication.
Kind of tells you a lot about how good the Eagles are, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeff, one last question here about Jalen Hurts that I think became evident to me, but maybe I'm off base. You tell me. Does Jalen Hurts deserve some credit for how good the defense is? And what I mean by that is the way he moves the chains, the way he controls the clock in games. I mean, even the tush pushes. You didn't have it yesterday, and you saw how much that gave the ball back to the Washington Commanders. Does Jalen Hurts and the way he plays the game, he has an uncanny ability to just move the sticks. Does that help the defense? And does he deserve some credit for the defense being
As in keeping the defense off the field? Yes. Yeah. In a way, I know it doesn't direct it, but
right?
Again, nothing wrong with being the game manager, Zander.
I agree. No doubt about it. Jeff, any other final thoughts on this game, man? My only other thing, did we hit on the discipline from the team where they just
we did when we were kind of talking CJ.
Yeah. I thought that was a little bit upsetting yesterday where the team just wasn't disciplined. But any other key thoughts, any other key takeaways, Jeff, from you before we let you go, brother?
I wouldn't panic. I know a lot of fans want to see him get the number 1 seed. Same here, but it is hard. I mean, look, this team won 10 in a row. They're still a really good team. When Jalen Hurts is back,
it's just one of those years. You usually don't have 2 13-2 teams.
No, you don't. Well, actually, this is how rare it is. It's never happened in the same division. It's never happened. This is so bizarre. Like Green Bay is in 3rd place, and they're 10-4 going into the night. They're probably thinking, "What do we have to do here?"
I know, man. 10-4, and you're 3rd in your own division. Crazy.
Yeah.
And the Vikings are good. Like
Sam fucking Darnold, baby. I'm taking a victory line. It might blow up in my face. It's probably going. That dude can freaking play. He can play.
Touchdown pass at the end, John.
Oh my God! There's like 5 people on the planet that can make that throw. 5 people on the planet.
And he makes it.
I don't know why people don't believe it.
I'll tell you what. I know Reed Blankenship is blaming himself for that Jaden Daniels touchdown. From my vantage point and watching it again on TV, what a freaking throw! My God!
Oh, it was a dart. Yeah.
Like he threaded the needle. He got it to where he needed to get. If he doesn't get that, Eagles win this football game.
That was a great throw by Jaden Daniels. Great throw. It's not even in the same watch Sam Darnold's throw to win that game. That is ridiculous.
But I'm telling you guys, this team's going to be fine. They're probably going to end up 14-3 like they were 2 years ago. History says every time the Eagles win 12 games, they go to at least a conference championship game. Look, you got to go to Detroit. You got to go to Detroit. It is what it is. It's, that's the team standing front. It's tough.
That team's good, man.
Guys, it's tough to win the Super Bowl. Kansas City's good. Buffalo's good.
And by the way, that's the team that's probably going to win it all, to be honest.
Well, they're getting better, and they're getting
Oh, my God. DeAndre Hopkins is all of a sudden, they got DeAndre Hopkins, and he's playing like DeAndre Hopkins.
The freaking Chiefs, man.
And Hollywood Brown's back.
Hollywood Brown is
Pacheco's back.
Along with Xavier Worthy, and you mentioned Pacheco and the running game's back. Oh my God. They're just at the right time peaking, and they have a great defense.
Not like I needed any convincing this Eagles team was good, but my thing is when they beat Baltimore, I'm like, this team can go win the Super Bowl. Because I have Baltimore. I've had them all year representing
Baltimore.
the AFC.
I think we got a rematch. 57 rematch coming, boys. Eagles, Chiefs.
My bold prediction, I go on Kansas City, the Chiefs Sports Talk Station every Tuesday. I've said this since the Eagles played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We are going to get this matchup again at some point. We're going to get – and they agree. They're like, look, we think it's the Eagles. We think it's the Lions. It's going to be one of the two.
I'll tell you what. I think the Eagles could beat the Vikings because I think they're showing holes.
Yep.
Especially on defense.
And especially defensively. I don't think they can beat the Lions in Detroit. That's my early. I think Eagles fans should be rooting for Minnesota to get that number 1 because I think they can beat Minnesota on the road. I don't think they can beat Detroit on the road, but Kansas City, yeah.
By the way, John, this would be the path if Green Bay does what they should do. It could be Washington, Green Bay, and Detroit/Minnesota. That's a gauntlet, and if you go to the Super Bowl, you earned it.
Yeah. Well, you got to beat good teams along the way. Somewhere.
Getting good, though. For the NFL, getting good, man.
But I'm that guy.
Really good.
But I'm that guy. It's all about matchups. And I was laughing 2 years ago when the Giants upset the Vikings because it's all about matchup. I'm like, you get to play this shitty football team in the divisional round. What a gift.
That was a gift.
Yeah, because remember, it was setting it up where if everybody went chalk, it'd be the Cowboys. And the Cowboys were good that year.
Yeah.
Jeff, who'd you rather play opening round for the Eagles? Commanders or Packers?
Oh,
Commanders.
Commanders by a million miles.
Zander, can I say like the Falcons or one of those?
Well, I don't think they're going to name. Well, did the Bucks lost last night?
Yes, the Falcons are in first place now.
But that was a big loss by the Bucks.
Yeah,
egregious loss.
What the hell were they doing last night?
It's funny because the Falcons play the Commanders next week. If they win and the Bucks lose, the Falcons win the division.
Yeah. That was a huge loss by the Bucks.
Now, Falcons got Commanders, though, right? And the Commanders need a win to try and win the NFC East.
So the Commanders need a win or a Seahawks. The Commanders needed a lot just to make the playoffs yesterday, and they almost got it.
Yeah.
They needed the Falcons to lose yesterday.
Yeah.
But that wasn't going to happen, but because look who they played.
By the way, I can't wait to – I was just looking at I post the Eagles snap counts every morning. The Zacchaeus touchdown where all the wacky stuff. That's the only defensive play Ringo played. Like
and he probably wasn't supposed to be in there.
I don't know, but I'm interested to hear Vic's reason. What the hell?
Hey,
because why is Ringo running on the field?
John, is Kaylee Ringo on this team next year?
Oh yeah, he's great special teams player. Great special teams player. One of the
best
punt gunners.
Do you believe we're talking about this already? Is so and so on their team?
Yeah, I mean one of the best punt gunners in the NFL. But I can't believe he did it on his own. Because why would he just trot onto the field? It's so many. My point of bringing that up is so many weird things happened in that game.
John,
Zander's point
wasn't it third down when Jaden Daniels did that?
I forget what down it was, but. To Zander's point of who would you rather play? I'd rather play this team again and again and again than Green Bay. Green Bay can beat you. This team,
Green Bay can beat you.
You need an act of God for this team to beat you, and you got an act of God yesterday.
By the way, the Commanders fans seem to forget this. Their defense does suck. It does suck.
Yeah, it's not. Early in the game, it was embarrassing. Early in the game, I'm like. What are they doing?
Saquon had 109 rush. And by the way, the majority were with Kenny in the game. That's what I hate when. And again,
I saw one person say Kenny Pickett was spotted at 14. No, he wasn't. He finished that second drive, and he had 3 completions to AJ Brown.
Yeah,
he wasn't spotted.
Yeah. It was 7-0 when Kenny Pickett entered the game.
He took and he had the ball deep in Washington there, but he finished it.
Yeah, right. Getting in the red zone. I mean, that's a big part of the NFL. Is what's your red zone percentage? How good are you in the red zone? Well, Kenny got in there. I mean, he does deserve some credit.
My fair was, and look, we put out a stat on CBS like Saquon had 20 carries for 39 yards after the first quarter. I said, well, still Saquon averaged 6 yards a carry when Kenny Pickett was in there.
Well, that 68-yarder helped.
Well, hey, I'm a bowler, John. You shoot 300 and your average is 200.
Well, they shut Saquon. They shut Saquon down.
Well, Saquon had what? He had 29 carries. So if you took out the 68-yarder, he had what? 82 yards for 28 carries for 82 yards.
Yeah, it's not good, but that's not.
Yeah, but he went.
But that's the game.
So he was 13 for 123 at the half.
Yeah, that's the real. And
then it was 16 for 27 in the second half. That's when they just said, you know what? We're going to stop this fucking guy and have Kenny Pickett be this.
And to Kenny's credit, Kenny made some of the throws he needed to.
Yeah.
Yep, no doubt. Jeff, thanks for joining today, brother. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so much for everything you do.
I'm going to go Happy Christmas. I've gone that because I'm taking the Londoners approach. They say Happy
Christmas. How do you tell a Seinfeld fan Happy Christmas, Merry Christmas on a day like
Well, you say Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus. I got to go get the pole out.
Yeah.
I should have brought it here.
It is Festivus.
You are not talking to a Seinfeld fan, and you are not talking to a Londoner. Merry Christmas is what
I'm going to go Happy Christmas because I have class, and Happy Festivus. I should have said that. Yeah, you should
Happy
know.
Festivus. It's Festivus. I got to watch that episode like 3 times on a loop today.
Get the tinsel and the pole out. And I got
part of your heritage, George. It's who
I got a lot of problems with you people, and I'm going to airing of the grievances.
Zander, you say you're not a Seinfeld fan?
I don't. I'm not familiar.
Oh my
with
God, dude!
Festivus.
I just love when Frank just goes, Kruger, my son tells me your company stinks.
I
The,
love getting
the,
ripped because I don't know any of
the
any of the
whole
shows.
point of Festivus is you air your grievances,
Yep.
Xander. So with all, I got a lot of problems with you people, and you're going to hear about it.
Okay, all right, we'll have to do that at one point.
It's
all right?
beautiful. It's the greatest. It's the greatest holiday no one's ever heard of.
All right, Jeff Kerr, I gotta run. We gotta run. We appreciate you doing it, brother. Merry Christmas, Happy Festivus, whatever the hell you want to call it. You enjoy it, my friend. We
Happy
appreciate you
Boxing
doing
Day
it.
too, Xander. I won't see you for that one either.
All right, good stuff, Jeff. Thank you, brother.
See ya.
Boxing Day. All right, we're going
Good
Canadian.
stuff,
All
Jeff Kerr.
right.
Here on Birds 365. We appreciate Jeff doing it. Appreciate everybody in the chat today. We got 111 likes. Can we get that thing up? Can we get that to 150? Appreciate you guys all watching the show today. We do have the Saquon Barkley jersey giveaway today, so we'll do that. Big game for him yesterday, 150 yards, even though they did shut him out, Johnny Mac, after that first quarter, man. 41 yards in the final three quarters.
20, like I said, second half, 16 carries, 27 yards.
Yeah,
They did good. But that's
that
the
shows
difference.
you how important Jalen is, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And by the way, Seth Walder does forecast at Seth Walder. Detroit is at 77% to get the number 1 seed. Minnesota's at 20.9. The Eagles are down to 2.1%. That's the bad news. The good news, 96.5% still to get the second seed. That's pretty good.
Let's get to our commercial break here. Good stuff today, John. John, I still feel nothing about this loss. I can't. I don't like the ceiling on this team hasn't lowered for me, John. No way.
Well, the more of what's going on elsewhere has lowered, not from the game. The game means nothing to me. Like I literally, I would rather play Washington than any other team. Maybe not Atlanta. But when you asked about Green Bay, to me, that's not even a conversation. Are you kidding me? No. Yeah, give me Washington. Now, you're going to play good teams, obviously. They're all somewhat good teams. I probably would rather play Atlanta because they're playing a rookie quarterback now. I mean, and a rookie
Atlanta
quarterback who hasn't played.
How did he look, by the way, Penix? Did he look okay yesterday?
No, he didn't play well. They had 2 pick sixes playing the worst team in football, New York Giants. They won the game, but he didn't. He was okay. He didn't do much. Yeah, so I would say that of all the and I'm just saying, I'm not even looking at seeding where they are if it's a possibility. I would say that would be the worst team in the playoffs, Atlanta. But if you're talking, and Seattle's still in Seattle's, but even Seattle's better than Atlanta. At least more dangerous because Geno Smith is pretty good for people that haven't noticed, and they have great receivers. They're another team with great receivers.
Yeah.
3 of them.
Yeah, a few of them. I was gonna say they got 3 of them over there, man. They got Metcalf, they got Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's a pretty good player, and then Tyler Lockett. They got good players there.
And Jigba's really good. He's
good.
better than Metcalf already. Yeah, so they're to me, they're more dangerous. Yeah, Washington's a team, man. That's who I would want in the first round. And that's coming off a loss. That's who I would want. Over every other team, that's who I would want in the first round of the playoffs.
John, let's get to our commercial break. Good stuff. We'll come back. We got about 30 minutes left to go. We'll close out, get our final thoughts on this game. We'll prepare for the Saquon Barkley jersey giveaway, as Flex says in the chat, though. 134. Look, come on, guys. I'm doing a jersey giveaway today. Hit that like button for us. Let's try and get up to 200 likes. We appreciate all you guys for watching the show today. Before I get to the break, I want to tell you guys about the great people at BetUS. Check them out. You can see the promo code I put on your screen. It's YouTube 150. It gives you 150% sign-up bonus on your very first deposit, and then you get 125% on your second and third deposit, all up to $2,000. So deposit less and bet with more at BetUS. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. They're the fastest payouts in the industry, 24/7 customer support, and they'll even give you your own custom account manager. So go check them out, and we appreciate them for sponsoring the show today. We'll be back in 3 minutes, everybody, on Birds 365.